Hello students, in this video now I want to explain about the concept of hyperconjugation. We have learned what is meant by conjugation. Conjugation is a phenomenon in which, but anyhow we try to recall what is conjugation. Here, conjugation means the separation of one multiple bond with another multiple bond, or separation of one multiple bond with lone negative charge, or separation of a multiple bonds means it may be a single bond, or it may be a double bond, or it may be a triple bond. And separation of a multiple bond with electron pair, or separation of a multiple bond with odd electron. Here, such all these conditions are known as the conjugation. Here, this two multiple bonds are negative charge or multiple bond, positive charge or multiple bond, lone electron pair or multiple bond, odd electron or multiple bond are separated by a single sigma bond. So such situation is known as the hyperconjugation. But in all these cases, the compound has to possess at least one pi bond. So that is the necessary condition, one pi bond. Here, in a hyperconjugation, the compound need not to possess any pi bond. Here, the conjugation that exists between the sigma CH bond and a unsaturated carbon is called as the hyperconjugation. So here the conjugation in which sigma CH bond is involving, and in which there is no need to possess pi bond, is known as the hyperconjugation. And here this conjugation is also known as the sigma pi conjugation also, because in the conjugation earlier we have studied, we didn't talk about the sigma bond, but here we are talking about the sigma CH bond. Here we make use of the sigma CH bond. So here that's why this type of conjugation here is called as the sigma this type of hyperconjugation is called as the sigma pi conjugation. Here it is called as the hyperconjugation because in this case sigma bond is involved. In normal conjugation, multiple bond or pi bond involves, but here sigma bond involves. So that's why that the concept of conjugation is extended from pi bond to the sigma bond. So that's why it is known as the hyperconjugation, and it is also known as the sigma pi conjugation. And here, as there is no need to possess pi bond by the compound which shows the hyperconjugation. So that's why it is known as the no bond resonance, as the compound need not to possess any pi bond. Here it is called as the no bond resonance. This concept is proposed by the actually two scientists. They are the Baker and Norton. One of them is the Baker and second one of them is the Norton. So these two scientists proposed the concept of hyperconjugation to explain the stability of the alkenes. Actually, it is proposed to explain the stability of the alkenes. Okay. And we define the conjugation, hyperconjugation like this: conjugation between an unsaturated carbon and a CH sigma bond which is in alpha position to it is known as the hyperconjugation. So here hyperconjugation means a conjugation between alpha CH bond and a unsaturated carbon. So here the compound or the species has to possess at least one unsaturated carbon in it, at least one unsaturated carbon in it, and it should possess alpha CH bond in the CH sigma bond in the alpha position to that unsaturated carbon. So these two are here known as the structure requirement for the hyperconjugation. Okay. So I say once again, the compound should have at least one sp2 hybrid carbon of either alkene, alkyl carbocation or alkyl free radical. So here that carbon which undergoes sp2 hybridization is called as the unsaturated carbon. The carbon that undergoes sp2 hybridization is called as the unsaturated carbon. So the presence of the unsaturated carbon, that means sp2 carbon, is must to show the hyperconjugation. Second condition is that alpha carbon with respect to the sp2 hybrid carbon should have at least one hydrogen. So here the compound, to show the hyperconjugation, the compound has to possess at least one CH sigma bond in alpha position to that sp2 hybrid carbon. For example, look here, if it is the unsaturated carbon, it may be a free radical, or it may be a carbocation, okay, or it may be a alkene. Okay, so in alpha position, look here, this is alpha carbon, so here it is alpha carbon, this is alpha carbon. Okay, so in the alpha carbon, the alpha carbon at least has to possess one CH sigma bond, okay, look here. So like this we can say. Okay, so these are the two necessary conditions. First is to possess unsaturated carbon, that means sp2 carbon, and second necessary condition is to possess one alpha CH bond, one alpha CH sigma bond. Okay, so these are the two necessary conditions for a compound or the species to show the hyperconjugation. So here, if any species does not contain any alpha hydrogen, then it is impossible for that species to show the hyperconjugation. And the number of the resonance structures depend on the number of the alpha hydrogens, and the number of resonance structures exhibited by that species is equal to the number of the alpha hydrogens, number of the alpha hydrogens, and plus one structure. Okay, so the number of resonance structures is equal to the number of resonance structures exhibited by the compound is equal to the alpha plus 1 is equal to the alpha plus 1. That we have to remember. Alpha, number of resonance structures is equal to the alpha plus 1. Here we can see some examples. Look here, in ethylene, first one is the ethylene. In ethylene, we have two CH2 groups directly bonded to a double bond, but this ethylene does not contain any alpha carbon, that means it does not contain any alpha CH sigma bonds. So that's why ethylene does not show any hyperconjugation. And next one is the propylene. In propylene, look here, in propylene, one alpha CH3 group is there, alpha methyl group is there, and to this alpha methyl group, three alpha methyl CH sigma bonds are there. The number of alpha bonds, this is alpha carbon, look here, this is alpha carbon, and to this three hydrogens are attached. So that's why we can say that it contains three alpha hydrogen atoms. So as it contains alpha hydrogen atoms, now it is able to show the hyperconjugation. Now the butylene. Now we go for the butylene. In the butylene, alpha carbon and this is a beta carbon. We have the alpha, and this is also alpha carbon. This is a sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, na? So it has the two alpha CH sigma bonds, two alpha CH sigma bonds, two alpha CH sigma bonds, and it has three beta CH sigma bonds. But where hyperconjugation is connected with the alpha CH sigma bonds, no? So here now it is able to show the hyperconjugation, as it is butylene is able to show the hyperconjugation as it is having two alpha CH sigma bonds. Okay, and the number of resonance structures exhibited by it is 3, because this is another this is one structure, and due to hyperconjugation it shows the two more structures. So that's why the total number of resonance structures is 3. Now we go for this compound. What is that? 2-methyl butylene. 2-methyl butylene. Sorry, not 2-methyl. Sorry, 3-methyl butylene. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon. No? So it is 3-methyl butylene. In 3-methyl butylene, look here, this is alpha carbon, this is a beta carbon, and this is a gamma carbon. And this 3-methyl butylene is having only one alpha hydrogen. So that's why, but anyhow it is having alpha hydrogens, no? So that's why it shows the hyperconjugation. And the number of resonance structures is 2. Okay, and look here, now this one. Now we go for this one. Here this is 3,3 dimethyl butylene. 3,3 dimethyl butylene, or 3,3. Acha, butylene is common name, and numbers is the part of the IUPAC nomenclature. So the IUPAC nomenclature of this one becomes 3,3 dimethyl but 1-ene. 3,3 dimethyl but 1-ene. But anyhow, don't worry about the name here. It does not contain. Look here, this is the alpha carbon, and this is beta carbon. This is another beta carbon. Look here. This is alpha carbon, beta carbon, beta carbon, beta carbon. So to alpha carbon, no hydrogen is attached. Only methyl groups are attached. That means it has no alpha hydrogen. So that's why in this compound there is no possibility to show the hyperconjugation. Here hyperconjugation is of 3 types depending on the unsaturated carbon. Already we have learned that to show the hyperconjugation, the necessary condition is to possess the unsaturated carbon, that means sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, so according to that, whether that sp2 hybridized carbon is a part of the alkene or the free radical or the carbocation, we classify the hyperconjugation into 3 types. First one of them is the sigma CH pi bond conjugation. This first one is the sigma CH and pi bond conjugation. Okay, now look at this is sp2 hybridized carbon. This is also sp2 hybridized carbon. Now this is alpha CH1, alpha CH1, alpha CH1. So here it is a here it is written wrongly. Look here, sp2 hybridized carbon, sp2 hybridized carbon, alpha CH1, alpha CH1, alpha CH1. It is having 3 alpha CH bonds. So such type of conjugation is known as the sigma CH pi bond conjugation. Next one is the sigma CH odd electron conjugation. So it is exhibited by the free radicals. Here we are having the ethyl free radical. This is ethyl free radical. In ethyl free radical, look here, this is alpha carbon, and alpha CH. So that's why we can say that this ethyl is able to show the 4 resonance structures. Okay, na? So and here the Hyperconjugation exhibited by the ethyl free radical is known as the sigma CH odd electron conjugation. Sigma CH odd electron conjugation. Okay. Next one is the sigma CH positive conjugation. So it is exhibited by the carbocations. Carbocation. This carbocation is a sp hybridized carbon, and this is the alpha carbon. And look at this is alpha CH sigma 1, alpha CH sigma 1, alpha CH sigma 1. So ethyl carbocation, this is known as this sigma CH positive conjugation, positive charge conjugation. So like that, depending on the sp2 hybridized carbon in which it is present, we classify the hyperconjugation into three such types. Okay. Next we go for the number of the possible resonance structures. Look here, I have already told you that the number of the resonance structures depends on the number of the alpha CH sigma bonds. Okay na? And the number of the resonance structures exhibited by this compound due to hyperconjugation is equal to the number of the alpha hydrogen atoms and plus 1. Okay, this is the point we have to remember. Alpha plus 1, this is number of resonance structures is equal to the alpha plus 1. For example, here ethyl free radicals resonance structures are shown. Okay na? So look at this is the ethyl, this is ethyl free radical, okay na? And we consider as the structure 1. Okay na? Here odd electron is present on the, in the structure 1, odd electron is present on the carbon atom. Okay na? So this is alpha hydrogen. For convenience, consider it as the first alpha hydrogen, and consider it as the second alpha hydrogen, and consider this one as the third alpha hydrogen. And due to the hyperconjugation, assume that the first CH bond detaches and converts into the pi bond. Look here. So the first hydrogen is detached and it behaves as the hydrogen free radical, and now this forms ethylene. Okay na? It is a momentary bond. Okay na? It does. So this is the structure 2. Okay na? Like that, we can detach all the hydrogen atoms and show them as the free radicals. Okay, if you detach the third hydrogen atom, we get the structure 3. And if we detach the second hydrogen atom, here we get the structure 4. So like that, here 4 resonance structures are possible. So like that, we can say that the number of the resonance structures is equal to the number of the alpha hydrogen atoms plus 1, number of the alpha hydrogens plus 1. So this is the formula to remember. For now, look here, we can see methyl group, methyl group, ethyl group, isopropyl group, tertiary butyl group. Okay na? So here from methyl to the tertiary butyl, inductive effect increases, because we know alkyl group is a plus I group, no? Plus I group. In tertiary butyl group, we have 3 methyl groups, 3 methyl groups. And in isopropyl group, we have the 2 methyl groups. And in ethyl group, only 1 methyl group. And in methyl group, there is methyl group is direct attached to the compound. No? So here the inductive effect increase from methyl to the tertiary butyl group. But when we move from methyl to the tertiary butyl, the number of the alpha hydrogens decrease. As a result, the hyperconjugation decreases. So these two are two opposing phenomenon. Okay, let us look here. Assume this is attached to the one what is that, unsaturated carbon. So it has what is it, 3 alpha hydrogens, and here it has 2 alpha hydrogens. 3 alpha hydrogens, 2 alpha hydrogens, and here it has only 1 alpha hydrogen, and here no alpha hydrogens. So from methyl to the tertiary butyl substituted groups, when we move, the number of the alpha hydrogens decrease. As a result, the hyperconjugation also decreases. This hyperconjugation is very useful phenomenon. By using this concept of hyperconjugation, we are able to explain stability of the free radicals, stability of the carbocation, stability of the alkenes. But actually, it is proposed to explain the stability of the alkenes. But anyhow, we can apply that to explain the stability of the free radicals also. Okay, now look here. Yeah, this one is the methyl free radical. In methyl free radical, only one carbon is there. So there is no meaning in saying alpha carbon or alpha hydrogens, because only one carbon is there. Okay, and that too unsaturated carbon, sp2 unsaturated carbon. The second condition, presence of the alpha CH sigma bond, is not satisfied in this case. So that's why we can say this methyl free radical does not show any hyperconjugation. And second one is ethyl free radical. In ethyl free radical, one alpha carbon is there, and to this 3 hydrogens are attached. So here it has 3 alpha hydrogens, and this one is sp2 hybridized carbon. So two conditions are satisfied. So in ethyl free radical, 3 alpha hydrogens are there. So the number of resonance structures is 4, because already we have learned a number of resonance structures is equal to the number of alpha hydrogen atoms plus 1. So here 3 plus 1, 4. Okay, na? And now we go for the isopropyl carbo free radical. In isopropyl free radical, look here, this is alpha carbon, this is also I write with other color, I pick this one. Okay, this is also alpha hydrogen and alpha hydrogen. So 3 plus 3, 6 alpha hydrogens are there. So number of resonance structures is 6 plus 1, 7. So it shows this 7 resonance structures. And in a tertiary butyl free radical, look at this is unsaturated. Okay, I write the unsaturated with the pink color. Look here, unsaturated carbon, and I write the such alpha carbons with green color. Alpha carbon, alpha carbon, alpha carbon. 3 alpha hydrogens, here also 3 alpha hydrogens, and here also we are having 3 alpha hydrogens. So in tertiary, this one is tertiary butyl free radical. In tertiary butyl free radical, 9 alpha hydrogens atoms are there. So the number of resonance structures is 10, because it is a number of hydrogen atoms plus 1. So that's why tertiary butyl free radical shows the 10 resonance structures. So stability is more in the tertiary butyl free radical. So from methyl to the tertiary butyl free radical, the stability increases due to the increase in the number of the alpha hydrogen atoms, and the increase in the number of the resonance structures. Now stability of the carbocation. In the similar way, we can explain the stability of the carbocations. Look at this is the methyl carbocation, ethyl carbocation, isopropyl carbocation, tertiary butyl carbocation. In methyl carbocation, only one carbon is there, that is unsaturated carbon, sp2 carbon. Only one condition is satisfied, which are required to show the hyperconjugation. There is no alpha carbon, that means there is no alpha CH bonds. So that's why methyl carbocation does not show any hyperconjugation, there is no doubt. And in ethyl carbocation, only one alpha carbon is there, and it is attached to the 3 hydrogen atoms. That means here it has having 3 alpha hydrogens. That's why it shows the 4 resonance structures. And in isopropyl carbocation, we have these 2 alpha carbons. This is first alpha carbon, second alpha carbon, and we have the 6 alpha hydrogen. That means we have the 7 resonance structures. So that's why we can say it has 7 resonance structures. And in a tertiary butyl carbocation, we have the 3 alpha hydrogens, 3 alpha carbon atoms. Look at first alpha carbon, second alpha carbon, and third alpha carbon, and we have the 9 alpha hydrogens. Look at it, 3 is not there, but we have tried 3 alpha hydrogens, 3 alpha hydrogens, and 3 alpha hydrogens. That means we are having 9 alpha hydrogens. That means we have here for the tertiary butyl carbocation, we have the 10 resonance structures. Okay, na? So as the number of the resonance structures increases, the stability also increases, because as the number of the resonance structures increases, the positive charge, that means the burden, will be distributed among the 10 different structures. As a result, the species will be stabilized. Okay, so we can say that from methyl carbocation to the tertiary butyl carbocation, the stability increases. So we can say that as the stability of these species increase, then the reactivity of the species which generate them will actively participate in the reactions. For example, compared to the methyl chloride, tertiary butyl chloride participates in the chemical in the substitution reactions very actively. That means tertiary butyl chloride is more active than the methyl chloride, because tertiary butyl carbocation is more stable. Okay, that is the situation. Now we go for the stability of the alkenes, for which the hyperconjugation is proposed. Okay, now look here, my dears. Here in the chart, first one is ethylene, and second one is the propylene, third one is the 2-methyl propylene, and fourth one is the 3-methyl 2-butylene, and fifth one is the 2,3 dimethyl butylene. 2,3, this is the 2,3 dimethyl butylene. Okay, na? So we need not worry about the names, we have to worry about the hyperconjugation and the stability. Okay, na? So first of all, we go for the ethylene. So look here, in ethylene there is no alpha carbon, only sp2 hybridized carbons. That means unsaturated carbons are there, but alpha carbons are not there. So number of the alpha hydrogen atoms is 0. So that's why resonance structures is also 0. And in propylene, 1 alpha carbon is there and 3 alpha hydrogens are there. Number of alpha hydrogen atom is 3. Number of number of the alpha carbons is 1. Number of alpha carbons is 1. Okay, so here it shows the 4 resonance structures. Alpha hydrogen atoms is 3, resonance structure is 4. And whereas the in the what is that Look here. This one is the 2-methyl butylene. 2-methyl sorry propylene. 2-methyl propylene, or we can say 2-methyl propone or propene 1 or 1 propene. Okay, it has look here. These two are what is that? I write with another color. Look here. These two are unsaturated carbons. Okay, and what is that? This is alpha carbon. This is also alpha carbon. So it is having 3 alpha hydrogens, and here it is also having 3 alpha hydrogens. That means it is having 6 alpha hydrogens. As a result, it shows the 7 resonance structures. Okay. So like that, when we move from what is that ethylene to the 2,3, this is 2,3 dimethyl alpha hydrogens. Here what we are having means alpha carbon, alpha carbon, alpha carbon and alpha carbon. 4 alpha carbons are there. That means it is having 4 into 3, 12 alpha hydrogens. 12 alpha hydrogens are there. So the number of resonance structures is 13. Okay, so number of resonance structures is 13. So when we look at this table, we can observe one thing, that when we move from ethylene to the 2,3 dimethyl butylene to dimethyl 2 butene, the number of the alpha hydrogen atoms is increasing. As a result, the number of resonance structures is also increasing. So when the resonance structures increase, we know very well that stability also increases. Stability also increases. So this point we have to remember. Okay. Now we can use this hyperconjugation concept to explain the ortho-para directing nature of the alkyl groups. Here this is a toluene. Look here, my dears, this is a toluene. In toluene, CH3 group is attached to the benzene ring. CH3 group is attached to the benzene ring. So look here, this is unsaturated carbon. All the carbons in the benzene ring are sorry, I am writing alpha. Unsaturated carbon, unsaturated, sp2 carbons. Okay, and this is alpha carbon, and these are alpha hydrogens, 3 alpha hydrogens. So that's why now they can involve in the hyperconjugation. So now this benzene toluene shows the 4 resonance structures because it is having 3 alpha hydrogens. So that's why it shows the 4 resonance structures. As a result, it is stable. And look here, due to the in these structures, we can observe that hydrogen is existing as the cations, and carbon of the benzene ring is showing some negative charge. So like this, we have the 4 resonance structures, and look here, negative charge appears on the ortho position and para position. So, and we in the other structure, one more structure we have to write. Here we may get the one more negative charge on the one more ortho position. So like that, we can say here the ability of the methyl group of the toluene enables the benzene ring to undergo ortho and para substitution. Okay, right. Now, yes, here by using the concept of hyperconjugation, we can explain how the CC double bond changes. Okay, na? In ethylene, the bond length is 1.34 angstroms, and we know very well that in ethylene there is no alpha hydrogen and no hyperconjugation. Okay, na? And in propylene we are having 3 alpha hydrogens. 3 number of hydrogen atoms is 3 and resonance structure is 4, and the CC double bond length is 1.39 angstroms. and in 1 butylene, we have the 2 alpha hydrogens and 3 resonance structures, and the CC bond distance is 1.37 angstroms. And in 3-methyl 1-butene, this is 3-methyl 1-butene, number of alpha hydrogen is only 1 and resonance structure is 2, and the bond length is 1.35 angstroms. And in 3-3 dimethyl 1-butene, the last one is 3-3 dimethyl 1-butene, dimethyl 1-butene. So in this one there is no alpha hydrogen, so that's why number of resonance structure is 0. So that's why here the bond length is again, CC double bond length is again 1.34 angstroms. So we can say that as the number of resonance structures decrease, bond length also decrease. In ethylene there is no hyperconjugation, and in the last one, that means 3-3 dimethyl 1-butene also there is no hyperconjugation, and ethylene and the last one, that means 3-3 dimethyl 1-butene, showing the same CC double bond distance, that is 1.34 angstroms. There is no hyperconjugation in both of these compounds, and the bond length is also same. And with the decrease in the hyperconjugation, what is that, bond length decrease. Okay, now bond length decrease. So this is just what opposite to that of the resonance or conjugation. In a conjugation, due to the conjugation, we observe decrease in the bond length, but here we observe increase in the bond length. If the number of resonance structures increases, bond length increases, bond length increases. So that point we have to remember here. And here we go for the one more concept related to the hyperconjugation, that is the reverse hyperconjugation. Generally, we observe the reverse hyperconjugation in the compounds in which we find alpha CX bond. Alpha CX bond. We observe what is that, CX bond. We observe CX bond. Here X means halogen. Halogens means it may be fluorine, chlorine, bromine or iodine in alpha position to a unsaturated carbon is known as the reverse conjugation. Okay, na? So look here in this one, what is it? This is unsaturated carbon, this is also unsaturated carbon, and this is alpha carbon that is present in the alpha position to that unsaturated carbons, and this is halogen. So the compounds in which such situation is there show the reverse hyperconjugation. So in the reverse hyperconjugation, what happens? Look here, this 5 bond goes here. As a result, the CCl bond breaks and the Cl minus ion will be detached. So like that the process goes on, and we get the 4 resonance structures. As here 3 alpha Cl bonds are there, 3 alpha Cl sigma bonds are there. As a result, we are having the 4 resonance structures. So this process, this phenomenon is known as the reverse hyperconjugation. Due to this reverse hyperconjugation phenomenon, the CX3 group due to this hyperconjugation only, the CX3 group, that means it may be CF3 or CCl3 or CBr3. So it acts as the meta-directing group. Look here, due to hyperconjugation, we observe the appearance of the positive charge and the ortho and the para positions. That means the electron density increases on the meta position compared to the ortho and para position. Electron density is more on the meta position, no? And we know very well that aromatic compounds show the electrophilic substitution reactions. So definitely electrophile here attacks on the meta position. So that's why we can say that CH3 group act as a meta-directing group due to the reverse hyperconjugation. Okay. So here are some general questions I have given. So let us think about them. Okay. So first one is hybridization of which atom changes in the following reactions. Okay. Here, look here. This is oxime. And this is amide. In oxime, the hybridization of nitrogen here is sp2. So look at sp1 and lone pair is there, no? So that's why once again I share like so. Okay, na? Look at sp1, sp2 and one lone pair we have to count, that is the sp3. Sorry, yes, sp1, sp2. So here hybridization is sp2. Okay, na? sp2 hybridization. Whereas in this amide, the hybridization becomes like this. And one lone pair is there, no? Yes, sp1, sp2, sp3. So here hybridization is sp3. In this oxime, nitrogen hybridization is sp2. In amide, nitrogen hybridization is sp3. And in oxime, oxygen hybridization is sp3. Look here. In oxime, the hybridization of oxygen. Yes, sp1, sp2, sp3. So here hybridization is sp3. But whereas here, yes, sp1, sp2. So here the oxygen undergoes sp2 hybridization only. Okay, na? sp2 hybridization. Sorry, I say once again. Look here. Yes, sp1, sp2. Look here, around oxygen we have the two lone electron pairs and one double bond is there. So yes, sp1 and sp2. So in amides, hybridization of the oxygen is sp2. Hybridization of oxygen is sp2. And we go for the next question. So consider the following compounds. Okay, na? Order of basicity in these reactions. Okay, look here. In the first compound, nitrogen hybridization is sp3, and in the third compound also sp3 hybridization is there. And here it is sp2 hybridization, and here also sp2 hybridization. So you know very well that in sp2 hybridization, the percentage of s orbital is more. So that's why the pyridine and pyrrole are less bases than the first compound and the third compound. Okay, na? And among the first and the third, we have to find which one is strongest. So among the first and third, first one is the strong base, because here in the third one, the more electronegative action atom is there. So due to the presence of more electronegative atom, what happens, the electron pair on the nitrogen is dragged towards to the oxygen. As a result, the third one becomes less base, weak base than the first one. So the order and among the what is that second and fourth one, pyridine is the strong base. Why? Because the electron pair here is not involving in the resonance, whereas in this pyrrole, the electron pair is involving in the resonance. So first one is the strong base, then the third one, and second one is the strong base, then the fourth one, and first and third are strong bases, then the second and fourth one. So that's why the order is 1 is greater than 3, 3 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 4. So this is the answer. So fourth one is the answer. Okay, na? This is the answer. Now we go for the third question. Consider the following three halides and find out the correct order CCl bond length decreasing order. We know very well that bond length decreases due to the increase in the resonance structures. First one is the ethyl chloride. In ethyl chloride there is no resonance, and in vinyl chloride resonance structure is possible, and we have only two resonance structures. Only two structures are possible. Two structures. Okay na? Two structures are possible. Only two. And in benzyl chloride, look here, three bonds are there. So that's why here we have the four resonance structures. Here in vinyl chloride we have only two structures, whereas in the benzyl chloride we have the four resonance structures. So we know very well that resonance decreases the bond length. So here decreasing order, no? So look here, this should have the benzyl chloride should have the least bond length, and this ethyl chloride should have the longest bond length. So here the answer is 1 is greater than 2 is greater than 3. So this is the answer. Okay, right. Now which of the following structures of the pairs are starred? Look here. Here this is attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon, and this is also attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon. So these two are sp2 hybridized carbon, and we know very well that they lie in one plane. So these lie in the one plane. And here also this carbon is attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon. That carbon itself is a sp2 hybridized carbon, and this is also a sp2 hybridized carbon. So they lie in one plane. Okay na? So look here, this is also a sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, and here in this case sp2 hybridized carbon, and this is also sp2 hybridized carbon attached to the, this is sp2 hybridized carbon, and this is attached to the sp2 hybridized carbon. So here also lie in one plane. Here also lie in one plane. And here look here, this is sp3 hybridized carbon, this is also sp3 hybridized carbon. So these two lie in one plane, but these two do not lie in one plane, because these two starred methyl groups are attached to the sp3 hybridized carbon. So that's why they do not lie in one plane. So here the answer is the D. Answer is D. Okay, and we go over the fifth question. That is the CH3 group for toluene is ortho and para directing group due to the hyperconjugation. We know very well that answer is the hyperconjugation. Thank you. Thank you.